Hi everybody, my son is crawling on me behind me, so that's, he might cry and get in the way. Come here, you gotta turn so I can pick you up. You gotta turn so I can get you. Okay, we're gonna do a video. Okay, so I'm gonna update you guys on my ER trip yesterday. So, I guess it started on Monday. I started cramping pretty moderately and wrote it off as nothing. Just uterine growing and stuff. And then Tuesday morning, my abdomen was super extreme. Don't touch, please. Super extremely tender to the touch. Like it hurt and I would cry. No, don't bruise it. I'm eating later. Here, how about this one? Here you go. It got super extremely tender to the touch. So, I called my OB and they said that I should just monitor it. If it gets worse, go to the ER. If it stays the same, to go in for an ultrasound the next day. And so over Tuesday night, I started spotting, and then Wednesday morning, yesterday morning, I was still cramping, and it was worse, and it hurt really bad. So I called another clinic here. I'm 3 hours away from my OB right now. So I called another clinic, and they said that they didn't have time for me and to go to the ER. So I went to the ER, and we spent 5 hours there. They didn't do a vaginal exam, which I'm really upset about because I am pretty positive that my cervix is dilated. I felt it, and it feels really open, like a full fingertip or more open, and it's really scary because I've never felt that. So they took my blood and checked my HCG levels, which they said are excellent, but they want to keep monitoring those to make sure that they don't drop. And then I did a lot of waving. They took my vitals, and I finally, like 2 hours in, I keep just telling them. I got an ultrasound, and at first she just said there's the gestational sac or something, and she didn't point out the baby, and I knew what to look for, and so I was trying to find it, and I didn't see it. And so she checked both my uteruses and said that she said it's in the right side. And then she said she's going to check my ovaries. So she checked my ovaries, and my right ovary looked like I have seen them before. Seen my ovaries several times, and it looked like I always see, big round circle, different color than the rest, and then a bunch of black circles on it. And of course there was one really big one, which is the one that released an egg, because I guess it stays swollen. And then she checked my other ovary, which looked really small and just all gray, which I've never seen. I've always seen it with cysts on it, and it didn't seem to have those, so I don't know. And then she pointed out the baby. Well, she pointed out the yolk sac, and then she pointed out the baby. And as soon as she got on the baby, I could see its heart flickering, which I started crying, and I was really relieved, and my husband was just kind of like, that's it? That's the baby? Because it was really small. So then she let me go to the bathroom, and she did basically the same thing with a transvaginal ultrasound, and so I have a picture. The baby was measuring at 6 weeks, 5 days, and I should have been 7 weeks, 0 days. So I don't know why the baby's measuring behind, but the first time she measured it, she said it was like 5 weeks, 6 days, and I was like, wow, like, that far behind? But then she measured again, and it was different. So I don't know if she just did a crappy job measuring or what. Because I know the exact day that I ovulated, and we only had sex like 3 or 4 days before I ovulated, so I had to have ovulated that day, and being even more behind is weird. So I guess we'll see at my next ultrasound, which is in a week. But here's a picture of the baby. See, it says 6 weeks, 5 days. You can kind of see the sac outline. Sorry, I'm doing this backwards. The sac outline. There we go. It just looks like a little bean, I guess. I've never had an ultrasound this early, so it's weird. But heartbeat was 135 beats per minute, and it's alive. So after that, I went back and I did a lot more waiting, and then they took my blood again to check and make sure I was not Rh negative, because that could be causing my body to reject the baby. But I'm not, and I wasn't with Jax, and I told them I wasn't with Jax, so they did that, and then they checked my blood type. I'm A positive, and then they took a urine sample and made sure that I didn't have protein in my urine, and I didn't, and I had a little bit of a fever, but not much, and my blood pressure was low, which it always is. It was 107/66. So everything checked out perfectly normal, except they didn't do a vaginal exam, and she didn't measure my cervix when she was checking it. When she did like the vaginal ultrasound, which I wish she would have measured it, because it looked like, it's harder to tell earlier in pregnancy. I saw my cervix every single week when I was pregnant with Jax, but his head was always pushing against it, and I could, really tell where it was, and this time it was hard to see and differentiate what it was. So I don't know anything about that, and I don't know, they didn't tell me if I had like a cyst that was causing the pain or what. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm dilated, which I'm pretty sure I am, but they didn't say. And they didn't give me a reason as to why I'm cramping so bad, and I still am. So even one nurse was like, "Are you really in that much pain?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's about a 7 on the pain scale, and 7 out of 10. And she's like, "Well, have you ever had a child?" And I was like, "Yeah, I gave birth less than 15 months ago. I know how painful it is. It was an induced labor with Pitocin. It was really fast and really painful, and I understand pain, trust me." So I just didn't like the whole experience. We were there for 5 hours, which was really unnecessary. We spent, maybe 4 of those hours just by ourselves alone in a room. And it was just a huge waste of time. I'm glad that I went, because now I know that the baby is alive and it has a heartbeat and it's there. There's only one baby. She checked several times. I was hoping for 2, but there's only 1. So they sent me home with a diagnosis of a threatened abortion or a threatened miscarriage. Put me on pelvic rest, nothing inside the vagina, no heavy lifting, no walking around, just take it really easy. So I'm doing that. I'm keeping up on my water intake, which I was before, because I know that being dehydrated in pregnancy can cause cramping, and I'm not dehydrated. So they wanted me to follow up with their clinic today. So I'm not a patient there, but I called them because I talked to them yesterday, and they're the ones who sent me to the ER, and they said that they didn't have any openings today, but I can go in tomorrow at 3. But I'm supposed to leave here tomorrow and go back to see my husband tomorrow. I was going to go with my mom to Bremerton and then to Everett. So I don't know, because the soonest they can fit me in is tomorrow at 3. So I might stay and go to that appointment at 3 and then drive myself over there afterwards, because my husband doesn't get off work until 8 anyways. Or I'll skip it, because I'm going to have to do a ton of paperwork with them that I haven't done, and Eric won't, my husband won't be there, and my mom won't be there, and because they were both with me in the ER. And then I will have to have my toddler with me by myself, and I'm not sure I want to do that, especially because I'm not their patient, and they don't know my histories as much as my OB. So I called my OB, and because they knew the situation as well, and I told them that I needed a follow-up from being in the ER, and the soonest they can fit me in is next Tuesday, which is like 5 days away. So I set up an appointment with them as well at 6:30 in the evening, and that one my husband can go to, and they'll probably check my HCG levels again, do another ultrasound, and do a vaginal exam, and hopefully I'll get a cerclage. That's what my main goal is, to get a cerclage, so I'm not so paranoid, because I have a history of incompetence with my cervix. And then I also have another appointment with my OB in Kirkland on November 12th. And then another one here in Port Angeles on November 14th. So I have one for the 2nd, the 6th, the 12th, and the 14th, which is a lot of appointments, and I don't know how many of those I'm going to go to, and what's going to go on. But yeah, so that ended up being a really long video, longer than my 7-week vlog. But anyways, I haven't had any bleeding since, just a lot of really bad cramping, and hopefully they'll figure out what that is. So I will do an update when I hear more.